Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. Last time Junpei, Lotus, and Seven made it through confinement. Today, they see what lies beyond. They pass through the open door and headed to the next room. Junpei jogged down the short staircase and looked around. What the hell is this place? The words had sprung unbidden to his lips, but it was clear why. Junpei shivered. Lotus and Seven reached the bottom of the stairs and stopped short, terrified. This room is really creepy.
I think we ought to get the hell out of here. Now!
He jogged up the stairs on the opposite side of the room and shook the door on the wall next to the catwalk. Just do a little turn on the catwalk. On the catwalk, yeah, on the catwalk. It didn't open, and he muttered to himself.
Figures.
It's locked, isn't it?
Yup. Don't know why I thought this one would be any different.
Junpei looked around the room again. In the center of it was a chair. The back of it was covered with electrodes connected to a nest of wires. Beneath it was a strange glass panel. Junpei wasn't sure what it was for, but it made him uncomfortable. Whatever might have been beyond the glass, Junpei couldn't tell. It was too dark. Junpei turned to look at the right side of the room. There was a table covered with a piece of cloth. Parts of the cloth were stained with something that looked suspiciously like blood. On top of the table were a number of metal instruments. Junpei didn't know what they were for, and he had a feeling he didn't want to find out. His mind began to imagine what could have taken place in that dark, cold room. The things he imagined were not pleasant. Junpei shook his head in an attempt to clear it and tried to focus on something else.
Anyway, we don't want to stay here any longer than we got to. Let's figure out the puzzle and get the hell out of here. Come on.
Welcome to the torture room. I think this... Have I done the torture room before? I genuinely don't remember. Anyway, let's take a look at stuff. That's... I probably don't have like anything ready for that. Or that. Or that. What's on this table? Alright, we got a wrench. Number of rusty torture tools are lined up here.
I don't think there's anything else here we need.
Just get the mallet. You'll never go wrong with a mallet.
When you look at it from here, the catwalk looks pretty high up.
That makes the stairs pretty steep. We'd better be careful going up and down them. What's in there, my dude? The cover's bolted on there pretty good. Should be able to get those bolts off with this wrench we just found, though. Dang. Must be strong to get some bolts off with a freaking wrench. Unless they were just, like, loose. Sweet, it's open. The hole's too small. You can't see in, even with the cover off. Well, you can't see in, but I think there's enough room to stick your arm in. Are you sure you want to do that? There could be something dangerous in there. Okay, I admit, that scares me a little. But we need to see if there's anything useful in there. Alright, here we go. Arm into the hole. Don't just put your arm into random holes. Hey, I think I can feel something. It's small, cold, and hard. That's what she said? Doesn't feel like there's anything else in here. Alright, let's see what this thing is. Oh, alright, well, the sun key. There's nothing in there anymore. Those stairs go to the exit. Okay, it looks like it is electrically powered.
Guess we can't force this one open. Figures.
If it was that easy, we wouldn't be having this tough of a time. Well, it isn't, so why don't we have our tough time of it and figure out a way to open the door. Alright, guess we're looking at this now.
The needle on the gauge is at 0. It doesn't look like it's going to move.
Red, yellow. Think the colors mean something?
No idea. I mean, red looks more dangerous, but other than that...
The bottom of this one looks like it's covered in rust. I don't think it'll move at all.
There are a ton of knobs here. Doesn't seem like any of them do anything, though.
Do you think it's broken? I have nothing. There's something on the screen. This device will conduct the experiment. Once the experiment has been completed, the door will unlock. First, adjust the switches to match the blocks in the sample above.
Huh. I don't know what this thing is, but we gotta figure out this puzzle.
It's right next to a torture chair. You mean an electric chair? That it's not for torture. Well, okay, in a way it is, because those can cause pretty painful deaths. All right. So yeah, it's for torture and execution. Whatever it is, I don't think it's good. Anyway, we just adjust the switches to match the blocks up on top, right? You adjust the switches shown at the four corners of the screen, then press the check button. Junpei, we don't know what this thing does. You can always come back to it later. There are lots of other things you could do. Is that a euphemism, ma'am? Okay, so what we got going on here? Oh. Oh no. I cannot believe I stumbled my way through that. I did not deserve that. I did not. Adjustment is completed. Now proceeding to execution phase. To complete the experiment, data must be collected from subject. Once preparation is finished, place subject in chair.
Whoa, I thought we solved the puzzle already. What does it mean by preparation?
I don't know. I've got a bad feeling about this.
I think this means one of us has got to sit in the chair.
Well, Seven's never going to fit in that thing. It's either you or me, Junpei. Collecting data. I wonder if it's going to run electricity through the subject.
There's a human head on the screen. Maybe it's going to zap the brain with a little electricity.
This really doesn't sound safe. Anyway, we've still got to prepare. We can talk about this after we've figured out what it means by preparation. Alright?
Well, it wants us to prepare, so maybe we ought to ask it what we need to do.
Oh, wise green screen, tell me. Error, the disposal tank is closed? Please fill tank with water. What tank? Oh man, don't tell me we gotta do something with the water tank.
Well, there's probably something around here to open the tank or whatever it's asking us to do.
Looks like the only controls are in this room. Floor's glass.
You can tell just by standing on it, the glass pretty damn thick.
Don't you think it's a little strange that only this part is glass? The chair looks pretty heavy all by itself. That glass could be dangerous. We'd be in some serious trouble if that glass broke. I probably shouldn't walk on it. So I don't have the wrench anymore. Because, oh, we can only use it once, guys. Don't hold on to a wrench. Okay. It's me like standing on the floor. This is the only tank I can think of. And the slinky hidden inside the tank. How do I fill it with water? Of course, the entrance is locked. It's been like that in every room we've been in. What did you expect? There's no point to try to go back. Let's just think about going forward, alright? Bunch of pipes up near the ceiling. Think there's going to be a puzzle up there? At least I hope not. Can't even reach them. Hey, this pipe is connected to that thing over in the corner. I imagine there are electrical wires running through that pipe to the device. L-shaped pipe and the straight one are both connected to this tank thing.
They're pretty big pipes, but that tank is even bigger.
These levers have got to turn something on.
Of course they would. All they can do is turn something on or off. What's important is what they turn on or off.
Don't say the floor is going to suddenly open up.
Or something down at the base of the lever. Looks like I got some movement to it. I should be able to pull this one.
Alright, let's pull the lever. Crunk. Is that water?
What the hell? What's going on?
Will you calm down? It's just water going somewhere. It sounds like it's underneath us. That means the floor. Oh. Junpei, look.
What's she? Oh, damn. I can see through the glass now.
Ooh. A couple of letters in the color of blood written on the shark's belly. Oh, that's a shark. Oh, it's dead.
EDBF.
Earth Defense Force Beta? The shark's belly?
It's dead. Looks like the letters are E, D, B, and F. Whatever these are for has to be in this room somewhere.
Well, we got E, a bunch of buttons here. Well, there's A through F on them. Push some of them. Down you go. Press it again. Back you come. Guess these buttons switch something on or off when you push them. So E, D, B, F. What? There's a strange noise coming from the chair. It looks like it's been turned on.
Is that a euphemism?
I guess the puzzle here was that the power had to be sent in a specific way.
Alright, we're good and prepared, and we're under the snare. The restraining device is locked but empty. The subject has not been properly placed.
Unlock the restraining device and reseat subject. Well, the restraining device has to be the chair. Well, then I guess we just need to unlock the chair.
The sun key should fit into the keyhole on these manacles.
Alright, sun key, in you go. And yes! Great, they're open. I don't think we're going to need the sun key again in here, though. It seems unlikely. Alright, sun key, you've done your job. Into my pocket with you. I don't think examining the chair is going to cause that machine to do anything. Should probably take a look at the monitor instead. Someone's going to have to sit down in it, my dog. The restraining device is unlocked. Please seat subject in device. The message on the screen was disturbingly detached. Well, like we thought, it's not going to work unless someone sits in it. How ironic that this would be the situation in which this slim, beautiful body is useful. Lotus? Are you sure? I can sit in it and you can solve.
Junpei's right. If we screw it up.
Seven couldn't bring himself to finish the thought. His eyes fell to the floor. Oh, they bonded. Somewhat. Junpei followed them. Beneath them was the dead shark floating underneath the glass. Perhaps it had been killed by an electric shock. I'll be fine. Even if I fall in, the shark is already dead. But no one likes an indecisive man, Junpei. I can still give you advice from the chair, too. You know, I just don't want to stay in this room any longer than we have to. Go over to that screen and let's get this over with. After her words had made it clear that Lotus would book no argument, she turned and walked toward the chair without hesitation. But she did not sit down. Despite what she had said, she did indeed feel hesitation. Her legs shook. Look, do you think you could do me one last favor? Don't say last.
You're making me nervous.
Just listen. If something happens to me, I want you to tell my daughters that I love them very much. No, tell them that I will always love them.
Daughters? You've got kids? You seem shocked?
Yes, I do. I suppose they're about your age, Junpei. They're twins. I had them when I was young, after some things happened. Their names are Nona and...
Wait.
Nona? Junpei's words shot out before he even realized what he was saying. He remembered the story Seven had told him. And Light and Nona. Those were their names. Well, some of them. The kids that were there in the experiment, I mean. What the hell? What's wrong with you? Lotus took a step back from Junpei. Seven looked just as shocked as Junpei. He blinked his eyes rapidly as if he weren't sure he was completely awake.
No way. It couldn't. Lotus, is your last name Kashiwabara?
Lotus's eyes went wide. How do you know that?
Are you serious? What the hell is this? There's no way you're that kid's mom.
That kid? What do you mean, that kid? Why are you acting like you've met her?
Seven's brow furrowed. I have.
What?
Yeah, I met one of your kids.
When?
9 years ago.
Where?
On this ship.
Why were you?
It's not a short story.
I don't care how long it is. Tell me. Please. What happened here?
Seven glanced at Junpei, then turned back to Lotus and began to speak. It was the same story Junpei had heard only minutes before. Every detail. Oh yeah, that's right, we also learned about Seven's past last time. He used to be a cop, and he was trying to find kidnapped children that were being experimented on. And then he got caught himself. And then he was thrown into, like, the confinement room. But then he found a metal grate under the bed, pulled it off, crawled through, found a giant room, and that's all he remembered. At last, Seven finished. Lotus shook her head.
Oh my god. Everything I've been looking for the last 9 years, the person who had all the answers, was right here.
Looking for?
Yes, that's right. 9 years ago, my daughters disappeared. Then 9 days later, they came back. They never told me what had happened to them over those 9 days. I took them to the doctor, but I was told they hadn't been hurt in any way. Still, I was sure that they had been through something terrible, so I couldn't bring myself to force them to talk about it. If I did, then I'd force them to relive whatever horrors they'd been through. I didn't have any choice. I had to try to ignore it and move on. A few months passed. Gradually they started to act like they always had, before they disappeared. They smiled and made jokes, and did all the silly things kids do. It got harder and harder for me to ask them about what had happened. How could I ask them to remember that? Eventually I knew there was no way I could do it. But I'm still a mother. I couldn't simply forget that something terrible had happened to my children. So I decided I would investigate what had happened on my own. I would find out what had happened during those 9 missing days.
What did you find out?
Nothing. The police pretended to be concerned, but they didn't do anything.
Shocking. Shocking.
Once the 16 children who'd gone missing came back, things were just swept under the rug. Even the media didn't talk about what had happened. I figured someone was probably paying or threatening them to keep their mouths shut.
Cradle Pharmaceutical. No, probably something even bigger than that.
Cradle Pharmaceutical. Have you heard of them before? No. It's the first time I've ever heard that name. Seven,
How did you find out that Cradle Pharmaceutical was connected to the kidnappings in the first place?
I figured finding out whatever the victims had in common would lead me to the culprit. That's what any good cop does.
What did they have in common?
Every single one of the kids who disappeared had gone to this one hospital at some point. The hospital was one of a bunch that were under the control of Cradle Pharmaceutical. After that, it was just about connecting the dots. Hospital.
Oh, good lord, that's Lotus. The hospital.
The hospital? For a while, I was trying to get some kind of story out of the kids at the hospital. One of them told me a weird story.
What was it?
Have you heard about the Gansfield Experiment? I guess all those kids had to go through it while they were at the hospital. I think it was passed off as some sort of counseling.
Seven cleared his throat and proceeded to explain the Gansfeld Experiment. First, subjects Q and A are put into separate rooms, far away from one another. Then a series of video images are shown to subject Q, who is told to send the images to subject A by thinking about them. Subject A, on the other hand, is put in a large reclining chair and given a blindfold. With their senses cut off, A is asked to guess what images Q is looking at. Oh yes, I've heard of that. It's a famous telepathy experiment, isn't it?
Telepathy?
Telepathy. Junpei rolled the word over in his mind. That's how the experiment on this ship was supposed to work. The experiment to control people, right? Yeah. I don't know if any of the telepathy stuff really exists, but maybe someone from Cradle Pharmaceutical bought into it. Lotus grunted. Seven had been thinking hard for the last several minutes and finally spoke.
Even if that is the case, I still don't get how that has anything to do with any of this. The nonary game, Zero, why we were kidnapped. What does any of that have to do with telepathy? I know I brought all this up, but I have no idea. Maybe none of this stuff is connected after all.
Then in the moment of silence, a cold voice echoed down from the ceiling. No subject has been detected. Unless the subject is detected within 60 seconds, all power will be shut down. System recovery is estimated to take 1 hour. If you wish to proceed with the experiment, please seat subject in the restraining device.
Whoa, that doesn't sound good.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going.
Oh no, that's not what we...
Just hurry up and get it over with. Junpei, I'm counting on you. Right. Lotus sat down on the chair. Junpei looked at her one last time, then made his way to the monitor. Lotus, please tell me right away if you feel anything weird. You worry too much. Now get on with it, or blah blah. Get on with it and be a man, or June's going to leave you. Lotus was putting on the best act she could manage, but her legs were shaking so much that if she hadn't been sitting, she likely would have fallen down. Failure was not acceptable. Junpei took one last deep breath and stared at the monitor. Okay, I'm just not making any progress on that one. We can try this one first. This side. So... Oh, well, okay. Oh. Oh. Okay. Well, that one is okay. The experiment has concluded. The door will now unlock. I hear the door unlocking. Now we got a new message. Please subject from restraining device. I didn't do the first one, or rather, the first one of this second segment correctly, did I? I'm very confused. Lotus, are you alright? Yes, I am. I'm glad nothing bad happened, but I do think my life just got a little shorter. Hold on, I'll get you out right away. Shouldn't take long for Seven and me to get her out of here. Let's get out of here, now. Being a guinea pig is not for me. Damn straight. I don't ever want to see this thing again. This feels like a very anticlimactic win. But I mean, we take those nonetheless. That just... I feel partially disappointed. But regardless of how I feel, next time, we're getting another ending. Thank y'all for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you next time for some more Let's Play. 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors, 1 hallway that will lead us to something. This was a bad outro. Goodbye.